report from the U.S. Department of Education documents that schools serving low-income students are being shortchanged because of unequal distribution of their state and local funds. Unsurprisingly, inequality in funding means students in low-income neighborhoods are losing out on critical resources. Underfunded schools often have new, underpaid teachers, crowded classrooms, fewer extracurricular activities, and many at-risk youths. Students in high-income neighborhoods have easy access to guidance counselors, school psychologists, personal laptops, and up-to-date textbooks. Why is there such a difference in quality of a student's education? Why is a student's education determined by how wealthy their neighborhood is? Great questions. Let's go back to Brown versus Board of Ed. In 1954, the United States Supreme Court ruled that legal segregation in public schools is unconstitutional.
Sixth and seventh grade, I went to Shellbank Middle School. That's here in Brooklyn.
What school did you go to? What high school did you go to?
High school, Prospect Heights.
I go to PS 312.
I was placed in ESL classroom, so it was all ESL. I would have all of my classes with the same group of people, and they were taught by like math, English, social studies was taught by a single teacher.
Oh, you only had one teacher.
One teacher for those classes, and a different teacher for, like, let's say music, sciences, and gym.
I mean, I was in the 10th grade, but I still was taking like grade classes. I wasn't doing too good.
In your high school, did you have a lot of teachers?
Pretty much.
So I would come in the morning and attend like extra art classes.
In the morning?
Yeah.
So you came before your actual classes started?
Yeah. I think it was in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, in the morning.
What time?
Like an hour before the school actually. Yeah.
Okay. Why were there no after school art classes for you?
Not that I know of.
You had a music class, right? Yeah. What kind of instruments were in that music class?
Oh man. I don't remember. I think recorders.
Or did you say that the quality of the music instruments were great? Or?
No, there wasn't a lot available, and from what I remember, the teacher, he couldn't really manage the class.
Okay.
Yeah. Kids wouldn't listen to him, so we didn't get much music out of that class.
Were there a lot of kids in your class in Shellbank?
A lot.
There were a lot of kids.
All of them immigrants, basically.
Did you have extracurricular activities like arts, clubs?
No.
Was the neighborhood friendly? What kind of neighborhood was it in?
The school?
Mm-hmm.
In the hood. It wasn't really too friendly. A lot of violence, fight, drugs.
Yeah. Were there private houses around the school?
Some private houses, apartment buildings, and projects.
What were the stores around the school like?
Delis. There's a McDonald's still. Dunkin' Donuts. Salvation Army. I think they closed it down now. DD was there. Dollar stores. Pharmacies, CVS. Not CVS, Rite Aid, I think. And also they used to have Pathmark nearby.
Did you feel safe at school?
I mean, it was safe.
Were there fights in your high school?
Always.
Gang activity?
There's always gang activity in the hood.
There was a lot of fighting going on in classes. Overall in school, I remember.
Did you feel safe in Shellbank?
No, I did not feel safe. Not all the time.
Though Brown versus Board of Ed made de jure segregation in schools illegal in the United States, de facto segregation was not looked at as a critical problem. De jure segregation is created and enforced by the law, while de facto segregation occurs through social pressures and prejudices that are not supported by law but can occur through other forms of oppression. This brings us back to our modern school system. Most schools in America are funded by three things: the federal government, the state government, and local taxes. Property taxes are used to fund schools in local communities. This is a huge factor in why schools in suburbs tend to be better off than schools in inner cities. Renters and people that live in housing projects do not pay a property tax. Property taxes are paid by homeowners. Many Americans don't think of New York when they talk about segregation, but in 2015, UCLA Civil Rights Project called New York City Public Schools the most segregated schools in the nation. Shell Bank Middle School is located in the 11235 zip code. 63% of the households in this neighborhood are occupied by renters. 36 are occupied by homeowners. In the neighborhood where Prospect Heights High School is located, 84 of households are occupied by renters. Now let's compare this to a suburban neighborhood. We don't even need to leave New York to find one. PS 312 is located in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Bergen Beach. In this neighborhood, homeowners occupy 69% of the households. Brown versus Board of Ed, with the help of the Civil Rights Act, was put in place to prevent legal segregation, but did not help in social segregation. With the creation of the suburbs in the 1950s, white families left big cities and made sure to implement local culture that made it nearly impossible for minorities to join them. Because of this reality, when property taxes have a major influence on the quality of a public school, there will inevitably be inequality within our city and within our country.
Can you tell me about the school you went to in Pennsylvania?
A lot of private houses. It was mostly, all of them were private houses.
Okay.
Yeah. Here you have many more teachers. You have one for English, one for math, one for social studies, one for art. So, but they were all good. They were all good. You were required to take a cooking class, which was fun. So it was like a mix of cooking and sewing class. Guys and girls were supposed to take it. You also had like a tech class where the whole point of the class was like designing a car, like a race car out of wood, and an art class.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a music class in Pennsylvania by any chance?
I did have. I was part of chorus and band. I played the bells.
What were the instruments like in that music class?
They had a lot of instruments. A lot.
And
In Pennsylvania, it was different.
mm-hmm.
If you were part of the band, obviously there were a lot of instruments going on. We did football field.
And you had sports teams, I'm assuming, to play on the
Yeah, we did. We had soccer,
Were there
basketball, most of the sports that you can think of. Yeah. So I would take part in like ensembles and like different performances.
So there were concerts.
So they were especially for like holidays. They had students in the middle school. They were asked to design a T-shirt that would represent us, everyone, band members and chorus members. So I actually submitted my artwork and I was accepted and I was placed on a T-shirt and I have the T-shirt somewhere laying around. They had in Pennsylvania. They had a pool which was shared by middle school and high school.
Since I am in 5th grade, next year I'm going to middle school, 6th grade. I am applying to Mark Twain first, and I am going for reading and math and dash technology. I wanted so since Mark Twain is my first choice, I wanted to go to Bay Academy for my second choice, but since that's not in my district, I cannot go to that school. The process to get into Mark Twain is that I have to take 2 tests. Good. So if I get higher than 95 on math, then I could go to Mark Twain. If I get the same on reading, I could go to Mark Twain. But if I get anything below a 95 on both of the tests, then I don't have such of a chance to get into my first choice of Mark Twain.
Is there anything else that Mark Twain will look at to decide if you can get into the school or not?
Well, of course, Mark Twain will look at my behavior and maybe some past math grades and reading grades of mine, but I think they'll mostly be looking at the tests that I take.
Are they going to be looking at any clubs you've joined?
Yes, they help you a little bit in study. Like, I'm in the newspaper clubs, and that club is like journalism, and I picked journalism for one of my choices of tests to go to Mark Twain.
Like, why didn't you finish school?
Right. I guess at the time I thought what was wrong was right, what was right was wrong.
Do you think that if you would have had better teachers or probably went to a more developed school, you would have completed high school?
No, I think I would have still did what I wanted to do.
And your what are your goals for towards the future?
I really don't know.
Do you have any plans on continuing school?
At the moment, no. I need money.
What college did you end up going to after you finished high school?
Okay, so once I graduated from Edward R. Murrow High School, I applied to Brooklyn College, got accepted to Brooklyn College, and went there for a semester. So I applied, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I went there for a semester, took most of the core classes that they had, but then I went abroad for 2 years. And then I came back and I thought, I think I'm gonna do languages, because that's another thing that I like. I decided to go with LMU Brooklyn here in Seattle. So now I'm a grad student there, majoring in speech language pathology. And I plan to get my bilingual extension, which will allow me to provide services for Russian population.